Life in this shelter is simple, but better than the job that broke her.
At the naman.
I was in a lot of pain. I was very sad. I was lost, but I didn't have anyone to tell, she says. This woman from Sri Lanka is free now, but the decision to stay in Hong Kong and fight for justice has also trapped her. She says, they didn't care how I survived, they just took work out of me. She claims her old boss broke Hong Kong's employment laws for domestic workers, underpaying her, failing to feed her, and overworking her. A story that's now a lesson for women like her, Hong Kong's foreign domestic workers.
You know, she didn't know anybody, she didn't really speak English. She finally was able to meet somebody who told her that, you know, this is completely illegal and that you need to get away because your employer is abusing you and exploiting you.
Activists are working to educate the city's most at-risk population for forced labor and human trafficking, domestic helpers and sex workers. Hong Kong law requires domestic workers to be paid at least a minimum of about $555 a month, and that they get at least a day off a week. Many don't know that.
They don't realize they're being exploited or they're the victims.
The government says it's taking more steps to protect domestic workers, including introducing a website educating them on their rights, prosecuting and revoking licenses from employment agencies that break the rules, and jailing at least one employer for abuse. But activists argue without a dedicated anti-trafficking law, the government isn't providing the support victims need to take on abusive employers. A law requiring them to live with their employers means those who are abused can be left entirely isolated.
The truth is that because victims of trafficking, they're so invisible that you don't even get to see them. And even if you come across a victim of trafficking on the street, you don't see that there's a label on their forehead saying that she's a victim.
In 2016, in a report on human trafficking, the U.S. State Department put Hong Kong on a watch list, putting it on par with countries like Ghana, Saudi Arabia, and Afghanistan, saying that the government authorities' investigations were inadequate to the scale of the problem and citing that there is no specific criminal offense related to the crime.
Hong Kong's government responded, saying the findings of the report have displayed a total disregard of the continuous and strenuous efforts of our law enforcement agencies to tackle trafficking in persons, and that we cannot accept that Hong Kong is a destination, transit, and source territory for men, women, and children subjected to sex trafficking and forced labor. But activists estimate that around 29,500 people in Hong Kong may be in some form of forced labor or exploitation. A group of women from Madagascar who say they are those victims are also looking for justice. I'm angry because they lied, she says. She was betrayed, she says, by an agency that sent her and others from Madagascar to Hong Kong, promising good domestic work and good pay, but she says they took most of her paycheck, leaving her with less than a quarter of the wages Hong Kong law requires. She tells us, I'd like to go back to Madagascar and bring money back to my children when this is all over. But she knows the fight for the missing money will be long and nothing is certain. Alexandra Field, CNN, Hong Kong.